Because I was reading your stuff, but I'm not as clear with a few things. Tell me your daily ritual. Your basically routine is to turn on your brain first, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I mean, so, and I guess our routine has changed. So like we try to implement different protocols to, just in general, but basically wake up. For the most part, like the past probably a couple of weeks, I stopped drinking coffee just to kind of test and see how that works. But I implemented it again. Like coffee's like my saving grace for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wake up, take T4, T3, wait about 30 minutes, and then take coffee or drink coffee, and then of course different supplements. You know.
When you say coffee has different definition to different people.
Yeah, sure.
Some
Just
people
black
like
coffee.
6 shots. Some people
Okay.
like 1 cup.
Yeah. So we just got an espresso machine probably 6 months ago, and so I just do like 1 cup of that. So which is probably equivalent to like, I don't know. It's like it's a double shot.
So two shots. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
2 shots of espresso.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll drink that and then take a handful of different supplements.
And what time is this usually?
Oh well. So we wake
Your
up
coffee.
probably like 7:30ish.
Okay.
To 8. I used to wake up much earlier, but couldn't do it. So about 7:30, 8, and then drink coffee about 30 minutes, sometimes an hour after taking thyroid meds.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so like around what, 8:39?
Yeah, probably give or take. Would you agree with that, Lauren? Probably.
Yeah, I mean, you haven't done it in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while since I drank coffee, but.
About that.
And you felt it?
Oh, dude, I felt it like it was rough for sure.
Yeah.
I just tried to hang on. I would take catechostem, but I mean, you're still getting caffeine.
Do you think coffee's bad for you?
I don't. I mean, I've listened to so much of your stuff, but I find benefit. I think, and I've taken just caffeine capsules just to see, hey, can I get the same result as not drinking coffee and see if it affects my GI differently? But there's I think it's the flavonoid content in the like with the black coffee. I noticed there's like a lot of benefit that I just can't find through just pure caffeine or something like that, or even like a tea.
Yeah, I mean, you should be okay with it. So listen, like caffeine gets a bad rap.
It does, yeah.
In alternative medicine because totally exhaust your
adrenal
adrenals.
exhaustion or something. Yeah.
Okay. Or whatever. There's some truth to that to some people. Okay?
Right.
Because it's just a stimulant. And some people just can't handle stimulant.
Right.
But if you really look at the evidence, like the published medical literature, it's slowing down neurodegeneration. It's changing symptoms in Alzheimer's disease. It had the flavonoids are neuroprotective.
Yes.
The caffeine is going to increase catecholamines, which is you need more than anyone for your frontal lobe. You know what I mean? Even when they look at high blood pressure, like people that have moderate to severe high blood pressure, they give them like 4 cups of coffee. It's not even
interesting.
So they've done large clinical trials and meta-analyses of even hypertension people.
Yes.
It's not a factor.
Even like all-cause mortality. I saw I can't remember what studies that was, but it's just fascinating. Like wow, Parkinson's and different.
Yeah, listen, you just be okay with coffee. Like, you're okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it's
always good to
hear. It's going to be one of the things it's going to be a major neuroprotector for you. Yeah. It's going to turn your brain. It's going to get blood flow to your brain. Yeah.
It has been a game changer for sure.
Your GI.
So the one thing I will say this is like for sure, like so when I cut out coffee, I would still take like catechostem.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to measure, but like it seemed as if my digestion was perhaps a little better. I mean, but it's hard. It's also hard to measure.
What symptoms are you noticing that were better when you were off the coffee?
I mean, the digestion meaning just kind of more like formed stool, if that makes sense. I mean, not that it wasn't formed previously, but
okay.
But I don't know. It's hard to quantify because they're taking different supplements. You have a lot of
gallbladder or fat digestion issues too.
It seems like it.
And then the caffeine also helps you with the
contractions. Yeah.
So it's like it's like something that hits all of the things you need to have done.
Yeah.
So.
And I've went through the pros and cons. Like to me, it's the only like true game changer. Like have a cup of black coffee. It's like okay, cool. There's my brain. It works again.
It's a battle for him because he knows that it's good, but then he says, "Let me just test it."
Let me test.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
always, like,
I got the impression of
that
too, and you're telling me you're trying to go off. I'm like,
yeah, I know.
Wait, there's maybe a misunderstanding of what coffee can do for you, and it's positive, and versus negative.
Yeah.
What about you also take green tea? You said.
Yeah, I started taking like green tea, like powdered extract.
That helps.
And that it seems to help. I didn't take it today, but because sometimes if I take it on an empty stomach, it just it makes me super nauseous, and I didn't eat yet today.
Okay.
But
have you tried gel green tea?
No.
Gel green tea you'll be able to do it without.
Like is it like liquid form or you're like the gelatin capsules? Okay, I have capsules. Yeah.
You have capsule ones?
I do. Yeah.
With gel or powder in there?
Powder.
Yeah, my hands get the gel form.
Okay. I've never
I
tested
can
it.
recommend.
I'll definitely
I'll
do it for
recommend
sure.
one for you. I'll make
Okay.
a list. So how long can you go taking caffeine without having an impact your sleep? How late of the day?
Okay, I guess that's the other thing too. I generally don't sleep very good. Although I should say, like the past probably 2 weeks, I've slept much better. But I have used to drink coffee like an hour before sleep, and I would still be able to get to sleep.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like my sleep is just like consistently not very good.
Right.
So it's hard to say. Like it's really hard to say what impacts my sleep because I generally wake up feeling the same.
Right. So
I don't know. It's hard to say. I'll drink coffee probably a little too late, but
You
past
do-
5 or past 6 sometimes. Yeah.
past 5 or 6, you do notice an
Yeah.
impact.
Well, that's when I'll drink it, but I
Because
don't.
you
but
might
I-
not have an impact.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if I notice like an impact on my sleep when I drink it even later in the
Yeah.
day. It just doesn't affect me like that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's one of the
Like
things.
paradoxical type of.
No, it's just
I don't even
you
know.
get adapted to it.
Yeah.
It's not uncommon for people that need frontal lobe stimulation
Yeah.
ongoing. Because caffeine
And that's
activates
it, man.
epinephrine,
It's-
norepinephrine,
yes.
which is what turns on your frontal lobe.
Yes.
Focus, attention, concentration, executive function, right? All
Yeah.
that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So there, people in your situation, they can do coffee, like you said, an hour
Yes.
before bedtime, and they can sleep, no problem.
Yeah, and I take a while to drink my coffee too. Like people, like family, would like kind of make fun of me, but like get like a Starbucks or whatever, and try to take the plastic cap off. But
Okay.
I'll just drink it throughout the day, just kind of like as a slow drip to sort of keep my brain functioning. So
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Okay. So one of the things we got to figure out is, listen, we know what the problem is. Your problem is your frontal lobe, your brain, especially your frontal lobe, isn't doing what it needs to do, and primarily it's endurance. And you basically have inflammation in your brain, right? You've had traumatic brain injury.
Yeah.
You've got the Hashimoto's, which definitely causes neuroinflammation. You have the myelin basic protein antibodies,
Yeah.
right? So all that's causing brain inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
And you may have support of that CTE, that chronic traumatic encephalopathy, just
Yeah.
from trauma, because you've had some pretty.
Some pretty gnarly concussion
Gnarly
for
concussion,
sure. Yeah,
right?
no doubt.
So, I mean, right now I can tell you clinically you're not moving ahead because you've done everything right.
Yeah.
Because they think it's a mitochondrial fatigue issue and you're just exceeding your rate every day. We got to figure out how to change that for you.
Yeah.
We got to get rid of activated autophagy and get rid of all that debris. Because
Yeah.
CTE and chronic neuroinflammation, it's going to build amyloid plaques just like Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
I know, like you wrote down, your biggest concern is MS.
Yeah. For sure.
I'm more concerned about you getting Alzheimer's.
Yeah, no, just losing the brain.
Alzheimer's-like things down
for
the
sure.
road, right?
Definitely.
And there's definitely things you can do to change the course, and,
Yeah.
right? You're already doing a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like you're fine.
Right.
We just
Right.
need to improve your function.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So back to 9 o'clock. So
Yeah.
we're on
Yeah,
the coffee
for sure.
time.
Yeah, that's right.
I need to
Yeah.
go down the caffeine caffeine tunnel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's see. So I guess our schedule sort of changes, but we've tried to. Go ahead.
Guess, 2 shots of espresso.
Yeah. So 2 shots of espresso, take some supplements, and then.
And the supplements you're taking is a huge list.
Yeah, it's a pretty big list.
Okay,
You're about
it's
to
all
say
of
something.
No, I'm just laughing. Every morning he's just in there knocking powders
Just
down
like
his, for like
pill,
5
powder,
minutes.
pill.
Powder. Like,
Yeah. So basically everything that's on there just can consistently take. I don't even know. I don't.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's anything new. I just started taking 5-HTP. I know it's not like long-term play, but it has helped me sleep pretty
Yeah.
good.
You're gonna experiment. Listen, all the
Yeah.
neurotransmitter stuff like 5-HTP and SEMI,
Yeah.
they're gonna work and then they're not gonna work.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you might go back on, they're gonna work.
Right. It's like,
Because your receptor sites, like when you take them, you get a load of neurotransmitters.
yes, the receptors pull
And then the
back.
receptor sites adapt.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't work.
Right.
And it's one of those things you may want to keep for.
Intermittently, I guess. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they for sure will stop working. And
Yeah,
it's usually
it's
around
short
that 2 week period. They
Yes,
just-
and that's where we're at.
Yeah.
2 weeks in there. So.
So it's pretty common.
Yeah.
All right. So all these seem pretty good.
Yeah.
DHA, norepinephrine, vitamin C, magnesium, resveratrol. Is there any of these things like if you didn't take, you would totally notice?
So caffeine would be number one.
Yeah.
And then, so like I guess dopamine support is useful. So like a tyrosine. I do notice when I don't take that, or like beta phenylethylalanine, however you say that. I have that powdered form. Those seem to help.
Yeah, those are all catecholamines.
Yeah, just all right. And so that's beneficial. And then I would say like I guess those would be the main ones. Ginkgo, it's hard to notice it's like massive benefit. I'm sure it's there. But I guess catecholamine support would be like my major. Like if I didn't take those, I would notice Neuroflam on like really crazy like inflammation days where I'm just like I'm toast. That will be I'll notice benefit there for sure.
Okay, so like how you respond tells a lot what's happening in your brain. So what you're saying to me is driving catecholamines is your main response.
Yeah.
Versus like someone else would say, if I don't take my anti-inflammatories, I can't function.
Yeah.
So your anti-inflammatories aren't that big of a deal for you, unless you have a trigger.
Now that you bring it up, I don't know. So green tea for sure. So when I take like a really
green tea is an anti-inflammatory and
yes,
has catecholamines.
yeah, that's right. So, and I would probably I would consider a large-ish dose, which would be like maybe like a teaspoon of the powder.
Yeah.
Which is quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I do notice that in like a pine bark. So now I guess if I have to add those in, I would say like pine bark's also beneficial, just circulation-wise, because I get so cold.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just adding more in, but
no problem.
Yeah.
What about the magnesium? Does that make a big difference for you?
So I take it before sleep. So I noticed like my dream recall without taking it was basically like 0. I wouldn't really have dreams, and then layering it in, I noticed deeper sleep. I would say if I can measure that, and then dream recall kind of came back. So I just only take it before bed. So if I had to guess, it's useful. Yeah.
That means you're going into REM sleep.
Yeah.
So your dreams are happening when you wake up
Right.
while you're in REM sleep.
Right.
So if you never sleep well enough, then you never notice your dreams because you're not getting
Yes.
into deep REM long enough to. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So you take your supplements. You got the whole thing after 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what?
Yeah. So after 9 o'clock,
you don't take it. You take it on an empty stomach, no food.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, I won't eat until typically like 1 o'clock. Not necessarily on purpose, but I think maybe it was at purpose at first, but
Like a time restricted fasting.
yeah, kind of, but not really intentionally. But just kind of like we get into work and I kind of get into doing whatever we have for that day, and then like 1 o'clock comes.
You take fats like oils and things like that
fish
in
oils
the morning.
Yeah, that's right. I do MCT.
Flaxseed.
Yeah, that's right. So I put MCT in my water.
Like a tablespoon.
Yeah, about a tablespoon. It's kind of like the little pump deal. So it's like 3 pumps, like a tablespoon.
Okay.
Some fish oil. So that's true. I am getting some fats in the morning.
I mean, basically, if you're getting MCT and coffee,
Yes.
you're kind of doing that
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
coffee MCT thing.
The whole bulletproof type of
Bulletproof
thing.
thing,
Yeah.
Olive oil.
Yeah. So I'll even drink some olive oil.
Okay.
Just trying to. Yeah.
1 tablespoon.
Yeah, but give or take. I mean, I'll just kind of swig it. It's kind of gross, but.
And how much
I'll
fish?
put it-
How much fish oil?
Fish oil. So we've tested a lot of different brands, but basically I'll take 2 capsules 2 capsules 3 times a day.
But in the morning.
And 2 in the morning. Yeah, 2 in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're getting like 2,000 milligrams of capsules are usually 1,000
Yeah,
milligrams.
it's like triglyceride form, and I forget. It's probably about a gram a capsule or something. It's about 2 grams.
Yeah. So you're getting like 2,000 milligrams, 2 grams. You're getting olive oil, 1 tablespoon. You're getting 1 tablespoon of MCT, and you're getting a coffee.
Yes.
So you're getting fat.
Good fats,
you're getting
yeah.
fuel for your brain.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. And if you had like a high carb.
Oh, dude, I couldn't. Yeah, I couldn't do it.
You couldn't do it.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't eaten carbohydrates in a long time, but.
Yeah.
And when I've tested adding it, I think it could be like an enzyme. Like I don't have sufficient enzymes when I add it back in, but I just crash.
Yeah.
My brain does some funky stuff when I eat carbs. I just can't. Yeah. I don't operate well.
All right, no problem. Got it. Okay, so this is until 11 o'clock is your first
I would say
official meal?
Well, I think really first meal is probably closer to 1 give or take, yeah.
So what time is bedtime? How long is the fasting period so far?
So bedtime, well, it's changed. It's fluctuated quite a bit. I think we're getting to bed now probably consistently. I'd say 11. I'm probably sleeping out of
Or I should say your last meal. Your last meal.
Last meal, right. So,
let's figure out what's
yeah,
average
we've
fasting.
also, since I think we push kind of like eating late, we find ourselves, I eat later. Probably like consistently, I probably finish my last meal around 8:30. Go to bed around 11.
It's about a 14, 16 hour fast.
I suppose, yeah.
Somewhere in
Whatever the
that
math is on
window.
that,
It's
yeah.
not it's exact time.
Yeah.
Okay,
Roughly, I would say, yeah.
So 14 to 16 hour fasting period.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so 1 o'clock.
Mhm.
What do you have?
So generally, we did I did the carnivore diet for the past. It was probably 2-year period. Go ahead.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do want to talk to you about that.
Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling before lunch? Are you done? Are you cooked? Or you're totally fine and you have to be reminded to eat?
Well, what would you say, Lauren? I think I have to remind myself to eat truthfully.
So you're not hungry?
Not really.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all the catecholamines.
Yeah, it's just running off of that.
Yeah.
Right, for the most part. Yeah.
This is where the mitochondria goes. Oh, well.
Yeah. So yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay, so because catecholamines, stop your appetite.
Yes.
And that's why like, people smoke to lose weight. And drink coffee all day to,
Right.
they don't have to have that stimulus. Okay.
Yeah.
So 1 o'clock comes.
Yeah.
How is your you're not hungry, but how's your function?
So generally we'll have just gotten a workout in. We work out like consistently.
Okay.
It's a little bit now it's hard because like we change our routine quite a bit, but I would say like consistently historically work out around 10:30.
Okay.
Finish around
What's your workout?
Well, so it's mostly we've tested a lot. So like historically consistently we've just done some just like weight training.
Weight training.
It's probably lower intensity. So we use weights. I would say my heart rate probably doesn't get super high.
Okay.
I know that is important.
Moderate heart rate.
Yeah, it's probably moderate. So
I know you wrote you crashed with high intensity.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did CrossFit for a while, like probably 6 years ago, and it was great, loved it. But we tried doing it last year, right?
Yeah, you
About 12 months
tolerated
ago.
it 6 years ago, but you can't do it.
I had zero. Like I could not tolerate it at all. Like I would lose all function completely.
And how long would that last?
Oh, like so we do a CrossFit workout. It would last me the entire day. I'm like toast.
Just
I'm
one full
done.
day, or you're fine the next day?
No, the next day I'm still hurting as
We would
well.
do the class around like 4 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
the next day at 4 p.m. he's like, I can't really go.
Just can't recover. So, and we would just do it back to back to back. So it's hard to say. It would last for quite a while.
It's more than 24 hours?
For sure.
48
yeah.
hours? Say 4:30 is the time you would try
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, anytime my brain sort of crashes, it sometimes could take me like 2 weeks for my brain to come back online.
So when you read all the stuff, I'll show you all the highlights.
Yeah.
All the times you're crashing is because you're exceeding your metabolic rate.
Yeah.
This is the main reason you're stuck where you are. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've done a good job with autoimmunity. You've done a good job with neuroinflammation. You've done a good job taking supplements. You're just exceeding your brain's rate every day. Just like if you were doing CrossFit every day and was forced to do it, you'd
be rough. Yeah.
You'd be broken.
For sure. Definitely. Yeah, I would be
Right?
toast, no doubt.
It'd just be like if someone had, I don't know, like shin splints, and like you got to go for another
Gotta run
20
every
mile
day,
run.
dude. 10 miles a day.
I wonder how my feet hurt.
Yes.
It's the same thing with your brain. Okay, so your brain is even more sensitive than muscle fatigue.
Yeah.
So this is okay, important. So right now the weight training you're doing is moderate.
Yep. It's
Like
pretty,
how long of weight training are you doing?
It's about an hour.
An hour.
Yeah.
So give me examples, just to like
So we'll do
bicep
like
curls,
yeah. Well,
dumbbells, or
yeah, like squats, deadlifts, basically full-ish body, full bodies, kind of every day.
okay.
Or I shouldn't say every day, like Monday through Friday typically. Yeah. But yeah, squats, deadlifts. Some of it's heavier weight, some of it's lighter, higher reps.
Okay.
Just follow like a little program, type of thing.
Okay.
And then we do like the 4-minute workout. Got the little app on our phone. Like we did that yesterday. We didn't do it today, but we'll get it in today. So I'm trying to do that more often. I was more consistent with it, but I've sort of fallen off of that.
And with this workout routine, you feel you're fully recovered the next day.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, I'm not beat up.
Yeah.
With
You
the
can do it
workout,
again.
so I could do it again. Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. So you're right where you need to be. And this is at your own home?
Yeah, so we were in an apartment, so it's like just
Down
2-minute
complex?
walk. We just walk there, exactly.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So you wake up, you have take your thyroid hormones, you take your 2 shots of espresso, you add the MCT oil, olive oil, right? Fish oils to get some fats in. 10:30 you work out.
Yep.
1 o'clock you're not hungry,
Right.
but you're just in the routine of eating lunch. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you eating?
Yeah, so lunch typically is like steak. We incorporated like veggies back in. So could be some like collard greens or something like that. So like a steak and greens.
You still can't handle all veggies.
No, it's been the most frustrating thing in the world. But I'm tolerating it better. It's like the microbiome mashup. I've added in, pulled it out, and I just can't do well with it yet. I'm so frustrated. But when I cook the greens and I keep it simple, just one green, I do better with that for sure.
What if you just had the steak? Do you think you'd do better?
I did pretty good on the carnivore diet. Yeah.
Why'd you stop?
Well, just going through the education, just learning about the importance of.
Yeah, we don't know.
No,
there's a variable here that's not accounted for.
Yeah.
But you may do better with it.
I'll tell you, like when I went on I did notice brain fog generally speaking, was lifted.
Yeah.
Like it was.
Absolutely.
And I was kind of frustrated because I don't want it to be lifted with, I want to eat greens, you know?
Yeah.
But it was hard, it was undeniable. I definitely noticed benefit with brain function. I would still drink black coffee, so I wasn't necessarily full carnivore, I guess, however you describe that. So I would still drink coffee, and I would still take like psyllium husks for like a fiber source. But yeah.
So listen, there's a variable that, like, first of all, the microbiome is
it's
totally
bigger than all of us,
okay?
no
Like,
doubt. Yeah.
like, listen, no one understands it. Even microbiome researchers are like, we have to use machine learning to interpret what's happening with the different gut, because it's too many variables that are all impacting each other.
Yeah.
Like one probiotic can mean one thing, but it can be totally different if 5 other different bacterial species are there, and then totally change if another one comes in.
It's too many variables.
And it's like, okay, so just realize like it's different.
Yeah.
The most important thing clinically is your clinical response. Okay, like you just have to. It's the only way to really get through chronic conditions, right? Like, forget all the theories and don't get caught up in our podcast. Don't get caught up in the microbiome mashup.
Yeah.
We may need you to go back. Okay. To doing something more like that, because you still notice problems with it, right? Like if you didn't have the collard greens and just had, let's say, the steak, right? You would do better.
I would think I would do better.
Okay.
Yeah.
So. We might need to talk about that. Okay. I know you want to eat the greens and want to eat veggies and all that. Okay, I understand. But so just so you know, like what I have lined up for you.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to go through like a 6 to 9 period of really promoting autophagy, mitophagy, getting your mitochondria totally efficient as much as possible, and kind of seeing what happens, right?
Yeah.
Because at this point, there's a clinical uncertainty of, can you recover from your brain injuries?
Yeah.
And to what level? Okay. I mean, there's the MS stuff and all that.
Sure.
That's you're doing all the right things for that. Okay. It's not like you're doing triggers for autoimmunity. Your autoimmunity, you're doing all the right things that you can do with lifestyle. Yeah. Okay. But your brain, like, we have to see, can you get neuroplasticity? Can you get your mitochondria developing?
Yeah.
If we get you as efficient as possible, so like we'll have this window of time where we're really going to optimize your mitochondrial fuel. And if you're getting bloating and distended and brain fog, like, that's a deal breaker.
Yeah.
And we don't need that right now. Like, we're only focused on your brain. Okay.
Right.
And what we're finding is, like, even people that have autoimmunity, and even some people with severe brain injury or inflammation, they do better with a carnivore diet. Now, it goes against everything I understand about the microbiome.
Oh, I for sure.
But some really prominent scientists think there's some genes from certain regions where that's what their ancestors always did. They didn't have a lot, and they just seem to function better when they go back to those. Well, are you like Norwegian or what are you?
But yeah, so mostly like Irish, European type of situation. Yeah.
Okay.
Which I don't know. I suppose they would have eaten. I don't know what they would have eaten really, but yeah.
Like potatoes and meat.
Potatoes, really. It's like of course, yeah. Right.
Okay, so we got to figure this out. Okay, are you opposed to going back?
No, I'm definitely not opposed. No,
Okay.
and even like I said when I was doing it, I don't know if it would be considered full carnivore. I would still take flavonoids. It's basically just eating meat plus all of the nutrition.
We're not so worried about the different theories. We're worried about if you get bloated and brain fog.
Just
Whatever makes you bloated and brain fog, like, we have to just get it out as a variable when we go into this next step. Okay.
Yeah. I would not be opposed for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would. Yeah.
Okay. But so you have steak and veggies. Yeah. You may get a little brain foggy. If you had too much veggies, would you notice?
So I wouldn't even say the food protein probably causes too much. Like, I'm pretty, like, my baseline is fatigue, and so I'll eat still fatigue, but no real like brain fog.
Okay.
Only notice difference when I take microbiome mashup.
Yeah, it's too much.
It's too much, and just massive anxiety for whatever reason.
Yep.
And so I don't know. Yeah, like kind of joints starting to hurt.
Yep.
Face sort of feeling like it's. So I don't know if it's just. I don't know what it could be.
It's real. It's just, it's your personal individualized response at this point of your microbiome and physiology.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So, do you have any change in energy after lunch?
None.
Too hard to tell.
No.
It's right after workout, though. It's hard to judge.
It's after workout. Yeah, I would say in general, after meals, I wouldn't notice any shift in energy.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 1 o'clock, then what?
Mm-hmm. So let's see. So basically, it's just work time. Basically, from 1, we start work typically kind of later on in the day, and I think partly too because it takes my brain a while to kind of turn on.
Mm-hmm.
So work when we get back from our exercise. So probably around 11:30ish. 11. We're shifting earlier now. So,
Okay.
but which is computer time for me. So screen time.
Okay, so between 11:30 and 1, you're back to work. You're working.
Working, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And just executive function tasks. Or
All executive function. So updating spreadsheets with so we just do a lot of paid advertising. So a lot of it's just updating spreadsheets. Emailing folks with spreadsheet data about how things are going. Updating QuickBooks.
And you're okay with that at that time?
Yeah, like I never used to do a ton of that, but I think it probably has benefited my brain. Just like
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a short window of time, which is perfect.
Yeah.
It's like an hour and a half.
No, it's probably all day, honestly.
No, but between that and lunch.
Between that and
lunch. You're having a break.
Give or take, yeah.
Right, you're not
exactly.
on the computer at lunch.
Of course, yeah.
But
sometimes I'll eat as I'm working.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
don't do that.
Okay. I'd say more often than not, that's what I do, yeah.
Because we need a burst of work right now. So an hour and a half window is good for you.
Yeah.
And if you just woke up and didn't have your coffee and just went to work, could you do it?
Do it? No,
right.
Could not do
so this whole ritual
0%
like
chance.
getting coffee, getting your
it was sort of like built as a byproduct of just experimenting and figuring out like what turns my brain on.
Yeah.
That's kind of how that was. Not super intentional, but maybe a little bit. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So 1 o'clock. So you've been so you've worked out. You did 11:30. Get back home 11:30. 11:30 to 1. You're working.
Yep.
Okay. Then eat lunch.
Yep.
Then what?
Just work? Continued work. Yeah, basically back to work.
How long is lunch for you?
Well, I probably eat relatively quick. If I have to cook, maybe it takes longer, but man, I eat probably 20 minutes or less, I'd probably say. And again, a lot of times I'm doing it over
work. How long is your lunch break, I should say? How long is your lunch break? When you're not back to work? When do you physically back and get in front of your computer?
So, again, just because for the most part I'm eating while I'm working, but if I took a break, I'd say it's probably, it tops, it's probably 30 minutes.
Okay.
It's a 30-minute break.
So 1:30 you're back out?
Yeah, give or take, I would say. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's quick. It's not, or less.
Self-employed.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of it too, for sure. Definitely. There's really no break, honestly. It's all day. Yeah, there's really no disconnect, but. Yeah.
Okay, so then 1:30, then what? All day?
Just all day. Just crank like
till what
computer. I mean, I typically go just until.
Sorry.
I just truthfully go until it's about time to go to bed. Like, I'm just cranking all day.
You try to stop and read.
Yeah, so I'll read. That's really important. So I try to get an hour block of reading.
Okay, so tell me your 1:30 span till what time?
Okay, so
before you read or take a break.
Yeah, so probably 1:30 till conservatively probably about 6:30.
6:30.
And in between that time, maybe we'll take like a 30-minute walk outside.
Yeah, we'll go for like a walk, maybe just around our.
What time?
It's hard to say. It's different every day.
3 to 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably like a 3 o'clock. We'll say, hey, let's go for a walk. Just get out, move.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Because 1:30 to 3, that gives you an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then let's say 3:30 to 6:30, that's much longer.
Yeah, give or take. I mean, truthfully, it probably goes till much longer.
Okay, what, 8:30? Yeah,
like 8:30. I mean, it's hard to say. Like, really, every day is just very. It's long, but again, we start at 1 o'clock, so it just ends up I push it all the way to the end of the day. Probably could go 9:30, 10. But if I had to give you like a definitive.
Let's say average 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Because sometimes we're sitting on the couch.
You're right. Let's say 8 o'clock would be like the.
When is your reading time?
So, gosh, I've fallen off quite a bit, but consistently, I used to get it in the morning, like every morning I'd get it in after coffee. Now it's like usually in the evening time, probably around 5 o'clock, 5 to 6.
Okay, 5 to 6, okay.
But I haven't been super consistent with that. But it's trended toward the evening. Or that's when it's 9 o'clock, and I'm like, okay, I need to read today. So I'll get it in then. So let's say if it's not 5, it's going to be right before bed. I'm trying to make that change to earlier on in the day if I can.
What does reading do for you?
Well, just...
So your brain?
What's it? Well... So I would say definitely benefits for sure. I think the ability to just sit there and just try to focus for an hour is like excruciating for the first 10, 15 minutes. And then I sort of get into like the zone and I could just kind of, I definitely notice it's creating connections for sure. And then just generally, it's just helped us in all different areas. But for brain function, I would say probably it's helped build some connectivity that wasn't there previously.
Does your like mood change? Does your mood, anxiety, depression change?
Well, I would say that for the most part, it's not energizing. It's probably fatiguing for sure.
It's fatiguing also.
Yeah, I mean, I would say for the most part, like most of the time I'm going into it, I'm tired, and then just like getting started, I'm like, it's creating focus that you don't have at that time, right? But I just push through it because for me, there's been so much more benefit to reading than not. You know, I'm like, I have to read.
So you're
keep it going.
cognitively pushing yourself through it.
I am, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. So those are the things you want to look for.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Any more like that? Work like that too?
The only the main activities I would say that really push me cognitively would just be general work. And I've tried to structure, I've had some engagements on the client side of things that were super stressful. So I've cut that off like the past week, which has been awesome.
What have you noticed?
Just way less stress for sure.
What about your brain endurance?
I would say brain endurance has increased just because I have more like brain space to not think about the client work, and I could just kind of focus on what we have. So I'd say maybe as a byproduct, not stressing about it has also helped endurance. It's not lingering, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
So I'd say in that respect it's helped.
So 8 o'clock, you're done. 8-ish.
Yeah, I'd say basically by 8 o'clock I'm pretty, yeah.
And are you eating anything between 1 and 8?
Yeah, between 1 and 8 I'll have another meal. So I basically eat twice a day.
What time?
So we eat later-ish,
between
right?
6 and 7:30.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And what's your
It's going to be similar. It'll probably be just another
meat and veggies.
Meat and veggies, yeah, for the most part. It could be ground beef, it could be chicken,
okay.
But it's very similar. Yeah.
Okay. And then after 8, anything
to
eat?
Well, so I'll have some coconut yogurt. Started doing that.
What time?
That's cool. I like that. It's probably around 8:30, give or take.
Does that cause you any bloating?
It doesn't. No.
Okay.
No.
No sugar. I mean, it's just coconut.
Yeah, it's just coconut, like
no sugar.
fermented
no
coconut yogurt. No added sugar or
no
anything.
sugar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Does it change the way you sleep?
The coconut?
Coconut yogurt?
Well, I can't say for sure for that, but I would add some MCT before bed. Haven't done that in a while. So a lot of stuff you've talked about, I've implemented, like, I forget the term, ketonemia or something like that, like low ketone. So I would implement that prior to sleep. And when I would do it, which is the hard part, I'm consistent on a lot of stuff, but then certain things I'll add in and not consistently do. That ketones before bed helped.
Yeah.
And then sometimes even post-Satine before bed would definitely help getting to a deeper sleep.
Okay.
So if
and
that
magnesium.
helps. And magnesium, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you ever checked yourself to see if you're in ketosis during this time?
I never have, and that's something I probably
you
should
might
do.
Be.
But I've never tested. No.
Okay.
I guess I just assumed, but you can't really assume. I mean, there's like gluconeogenesis, I suppose, that could like not get you in there. So.
And also, you just like may barely be in there because you're not having enough fat. So you would start to make more ketones, but since your fuel sources may not have enough fat.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I've always wanted to add more fat into my diet.
Yeah,
like for sure, because I just know there's benefit, but just the digesting it's not been the easiest, I guess.
So basically, we have to have your circulating ketones as high as we can. So, like some people do ketogenic diets for like diabetes. They're trying to get weight loss, right? Mm-hmm. And then you want them to burn their body fat and make their own ketones. Yeah. For you, we want your ketones like super high.
Yeah.
All the time, even if you have to take it exogenously.
Yes.
Because it's an anti-inflammatory.
Yes.
As we start getting you into,
I've never done like the ketone salts or anything, but I've started incorporating just like putting it in my water, like pumps of MCT and just drinking it throughout the day.
Yeah, that'll work too.
And I need to do it more for sure.
Okay. Yeah. We gotta get you into hyperketosis.
Extreme ketosis. Yeah.
For real.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I've even wanted to do like the 80% fat. Like I'm super willing to do it. I could not figure out a way for my GI.
Can you tolerate fats because you have gallbladder symptoms?
Not too well.
This is exactly why.
That's the problem.
If you can't tolerate fats, we're gonna have to use beta hydroxybutyrate salts.
That's been like the bane of like,
day.
I just take as much fat as I can.
So what happens when you eat fats? You just get bloated.
Yeah, just my digestion goes toward the looser side, and you just kind of generally seem like I feel like I'm not digesting that too well, you know.
Yeah.
So I've taken ox bile.
Yep.
Yeah.
And all that stuff.
Yeah, just haven't. Okay. I've not been able to solve that equation. So I'm like, it could be a gallbladder function. My mom had that removed, but I'm like, don't know what it could be. Thyroid related. I'm like trying to figure out how do I.
Have you read an ultrasound?
Not on my gallbladder, no, but probably, I don't know.
Let's wait.
Just intuitively, I'm
there's
like
layers of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you don't want to like.
Yeah,
some things screaming to go after. You don't want to get those down the road.
There's order to it, no doubt. I agree, for sure.
Right. Okay, and then talk to me about your sleep.
So sleep historically, I mean, I've never generally slept good. I just remember like just memories as a child, like not being able to sleep good. So let's see. Yeah, I mean, going to sleep is relatively difficult.
Falling asleep.
Yeah, falling asleep. Just like the restless brain, maybe it's the prefrontal. Just hard to kind of slow that down.
I would say just until about 2 months ago, you were going to sleep around 1 o'clock. Like, you would get in the bed
Just
and
could
then
not.
leave.
Yeah, I was just like frustrated. Like, I'm just laying here, cannot sleep. Playing like sleep hypnosis, and like just trying to, nothing's working. But more so now, I think I've been able to get into sleep. But yeah, just like consistently don't sleep very well. Wake up just like feeling like I didn't sleep, and that's basically every day. I remember like one day as a child waking up. It's funny, I have like one memory, like, oh my gosh, I feel like I slept. And
I remember reading that.
Yeah, and so that's kind of like what I've experienced for the most part. Experimenting with like a vinpocetine, just seeing like, hey, could it be just like lack of oxygen? Maybe I'm not breathing very well. Just as an experiment without having to get a CPAP, it's kind of like a redneck way to see like, hey, can I take a vasodilator before bed, and maybe that will, I don't know.
Have you had a sleep study?
I've not, no. But that's also something I thought, like maybe put that on like the checklist. Yeah, I've had sleep paralysis.
Not consistently, but...
Just like very strange type of thing, but not super consistent. It used to be really consistent. I don't have it as much anymore. So I'm just sort of brain-based somehow, but it's not that consistent.
Yeah, I mean, if some brain injuries, especially the frontal. So the reason you'll fall asleep is if you inhibit your reticular activating system.
You have to inhibit though, yeah.
Yeah, if you can't inhibit it, you're not sleeping.
You're just laying there.
So catecholamines activate it.
Yes,
right? But for you, I don't think that's the issue. I think same pathway that causes you anxiety is an inhibition pathway from the frontal lobe. Your frontal lobe is your main inhibitor.
Yeah, exactly.
Your frontal lobe inhibits your limbic system, so you don't get anxiety.
Yeah.
Your frontal lobe inhibits
the basal ganglia loop or something.
Yeah,
right? Yeah, I remember watching that in
Very
neurology.
impressed.
Oh, it's like, still don't know much, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's pretty impressive. But anyways, basically the androtic pathway exactly inhibits the limbic system and also inhibits the reticular activating system. So your frontal lobe is fatigued. Yeah. You're not going to sleep.
You're just laying there. Yeah.
So you have to understand your frontal lobe activity then inhibits.
Yes.
So if your frontal lobe is gone,
activates inhibition. Right.
You're not going to sleep because you need to have that churn working. So a large part of the days you're not sleeping is probably days you're fatigued.
That's probably right. Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly right. I remember the days where I'm just so. Had like the massively long stretch of work or whatever it is. I'm just like so tired, but can't sleep. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, so let's use that. We have to find guides of your brain fatiguing. And then we need to figure out how to not do that. Okay?
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Or just like stimulation of being around family. Like you don't sleep.
Yeah, I never had that issue of sort of like, let's say being in crowds or being around like a lot of people.
Yeah, that's more cerebellar.
Dude, it's just like that's the past 2 years, right?
Like,
so it's like hard, like you want to be around people, but I'm like, man, if I'm around, could be anything, anybody in public, around family for too long, like I'm just toast for like the next week. It's just terrible.
Well, motion and movement is different than dealing with people. Dealing with people is highly executive function still, because you're reasoning, you're planning, you're interpreting.
Yeah.
That's all frontal.
Right.
So people that have frontal lobe injuries or frontal lobe dysfunction, whatever you want to call it. Okay, frontal lobe's not as healthy as it could be.
Yeah.
They can't handle the interaction, the social
stimulus.
interaction. It's not so much the movement. And
Right.
what is it for you? It's more of the interaction.
And it was never like, I would say a couple years ago, I never had that issue. Like, just it was great being around people, and so it's interaction. It's just trivial stimulus, right? Just
yeah.
even driving. I mean, that's
See, this is your brain region localization form,
Mm.
right? If you can see you've left like 3s and 4s are always really bad. I only highlighted the
right.
4s, okay?
Yeah.
If we saw this, you'd go, this is an injured, unhealthy frontal lobe.
Yeah.
Okay. Then look at the rest, 0, 0, 0, 0,
Yeah.
different regions of the brain.
Mm-hmm.
And then definitely some memory related
Yeah.
issues. But these may be frontal circuits to temporal lobe. I don't think it's
Right.
a concern. And then we always look for the cerebellum because of TPO, But he said crowded cause anxiety.
Yeah.
So people are just
Not all. I mean, it didn't used to be that way, but the past probably
Okay.
year or 2 years, it's been kind of a new addition, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it anxiety or overstimulation in your brain?
Well, yeah, I guess it's the overstimulation where it's kind of like you've had enough stimulation. You just, however you describe that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just make sure we're good. Just as a review,
Yep.
you wake up at 7:38. Take your thyroid hormones within the first 3 minutes. T4,
Yep.
T3. Right.
Mm-hmm.
8:39. 2 shots of coffee, espresso. Take
Yep.
your supplements, which includes fats,
Yes.
MCT, olive oil, fish oils.
Yep.
And then you work out.
Mm-hmm.
And then after your workout, you get about an hour and a half of work in.
Yep.
Eat lunch
Mhm.
for half an hour,
Mm-hmm.
and then back to work.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's like around 11:30, 1:30.
Yeah, about 11:30 to like whenever I eat.
Okay,
Mhm.
and then go for a walk around 3 to 5.
Yeah, give or take. Yeah, we'll get a walk in
Dinner
there.
6, 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, veggie meats.
Yep, same type of
8
food.
o'clock is when you kind of wind down from work.
Try
Maybe,
to.
maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not.
Somewhere in there, you may push reading there
Yes.
or after.
Yes, right.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then you may have a hard time falling asleep.
Yes, right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So listen, your battle is your fatigue ability.
Mm.
Listen to me.
Yeah.
There's no way out of this.
Mm.
There's no way out of this
Mm.
until you figure this out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like everything.
Mm.
So now we have to look for what are your clinical clues of fatigability.
Right.
Okay.
Mm.
And you got to like make that connection because then
Mhm.
you've got to taper down and figure out what your brain can handle.
Yeah.
Right. And we're gonna do some things to improve your mitochondrial efficiency and
Mm.
things together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. The
So
lifestyle
one of them
brain.
for sure is not being able to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've gotten better like the past 2 weeks, whether that's just a byproduct of the short-term 5-HTP that, I'll probably see hard time sleeping in the next week
Yeah.
or so.
See, like there's different strategy. You can say, oh, well, let's get you to sleep. Let's
Mm.
put you on some things to knock you out. And there's things you can do to knock you out.
Right. Right.
Okay, like nutraceutically.
Yeah.
But it's a clinical window of your fatigability, so we don't play with it.
Right.
And even if you take 5-HTP, within 2 weeks, it's not going to break
It'll be
anything.
short
It doesn't
play,
matter.
yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
So how many days a week now are you not falling asleep easily?
It's,
You wake up. Like,
yeah.
when you stop.
it's basically every day for
Every
the most
day.
part. Yeah,
Okay,
every
so
day.
every
Not
day.
sleeping. Yeah. Right.
All right. We're only about falling asleep. Your inability to stay asleep is a whole different story.
Oh, that's the same. I mean, but that's also
Yeah.
yeah.
And
staying
also
asleep is
feeling
hard.
energized in the morning.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another way out of this is like there's no way out of this until you get
Mm.
efficient sleep.
Yes.
Like there's no way out.
Right.
They kind of and they're
Mm.
interrelated, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the staying asleep, we need to do a sleep study.
Mm.
You got to get a sleep study done.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm with
Okay.
that for sure. Definitely.
If you get a sleep study done and you do have like hypoxia at nighttime, if you get on CPAP,
We thought about that. I'm like, can I rent? Like I was googling, can I rent a CPAP and just test it out? But I'm like, of course you need to get a study and stuff. So yeah, that's awesome. I'm with that.
plus if we have study, then as your
Mm.
brain gets healthier,
Mm.
you can redo
Yes. Yes.
it. Okay.
Yep.
So let's get that sleep study.
Yeah. Cool.
Another part of it is your fuel dropping at nighttime,
Mm.
and there's some indication of that because when you're taking MCT, you felt better.
Yeah, I noticed benefit for sure.
So, and the fuel is actually going to your brain. Like your
Mm.
brain is already exhausted, needs some fuel to keep
Yeah.
you asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So we're gonna check ketones, MCT, nighttime. Okay. So, what else is related to fatigue?
Yeah.
What else do you notice when you're totally tired?
Well, let's see.
Brain fatigue.
Brain fatigue.
Yeah.
Like what else causes it? Or
what are the symptoms you may have?
Symptoms.
How do you know? Like.
Yeah, I would say my mood for sure. I probably get very prone to being irritable. I would say
Irritable.
for sure. Yeah.
Sensitive skin.
Oh right, that's totally right. So that was brand new the past 2 years. Like when my brain reaches its threshold, my skin is just, it feels like painful to touch. So like Lauren will go to just like touch me, and I'm like, it does not feel very good. But
all over?
But only all over. I mean, I guess arm would be, but all over legs.
If I reach over, I'm touching your arm.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so that would be a very big one for sure.
It's like a hyperalgesia.
So like that, I've never experienced that in my life, but the past 2 years, like that, just ultra just painful. It just feels really strange, you know.
Is it sensitive right now?
Not so much now, but I would say yesterday, like we did a lot of driving, for instance, yesterday.
Yeah.
So we went to Malibu, and like by the time we got back, I'm like my brain was just blown out.
What about other types of pain? Joint pain or other pain, or is it just your skin?
So I don't really have any joint pain at all, which is cool. No joint pain or anything, but
your
like
face. Your face.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah. So sometimes my face will get tight. Like once my brain is just really fatigued.
Your face will get tight. Your facial
Yeah,
muscles?
it'll feel like exactly. My face will get tight. Yeah.
Okay.
So those would definitely be the two biggest.
So facial muscles, those are like cranial nerve 7.
Mm.
So that only happens if there's like injury to the motor strip of the frontal lobe.
Oh.
There's a frontal lobe. There's like, you know how you have
Yeah.
So you have weakness and you have spasticity, right?
Yeah.
Spasticity is always brain, right? Or spinal cord.
Right.
Okay. It's
Yes.
just the findings.
Right.
So if you have any, and then you have like a motor strip. Do you remember the motor
Yes,
strip?
motor strip, of course.
So you have the homunculus distribution
Yes.
of the face.
Mm.
It's like way down here.
Yes.
If you have an injury
yes.
to your lateral frontal motor strip,
Mm-hmm.
if your brain gets fatigued, you're going to have spasticity in those.
Mm.
So it's your face both sides or just one side?
Yeah, I'd say both sides, kind of like just like eye sockets just down, kind of like cheek area. Yeah.
Okay. Now you have a head tilt to the left this whole time.
Yeah, I've no like.
If you go, do you ever get double vision?
No, I don't ever get double.
Okay.
No.
You might have eye muscle weakness.
Mm.
Like it's usually superior oblique on the opposite side. But we'll check.
Okay.
Brain shakes.
Yeah, that was kind of. I mean, I don't know how to describe that. It's not obviously not a seizure. It's not epilepsy, but a feeling of like I can audibly, or not audibly, but just I can feel like vibration in my head. But that only happens when my brain is just like I'm at my absolute end of threshold, can't function, brain is blown out. It just feels like my brain is almost trembling. I don't know. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah.
But sometimes you'll even get that like mid-morning, so it's not even like it's like from the day before.
Yeah.
Let's call that something. What do you want to call it?
Brain shaking. I mean, brain zap or brain shaking or,
sensation. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Just so you know, there's no new supplement for you to take.
Of course, no. That's what we talked about too. It's like
it's
beyond that.
It's figuring
for
this
sure.
out.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have you take a bunch of ketones.
Sure.
Because we're going to put you in a hyperketone state.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So mood irritability, skin sensitivity, facial muscle tightness, right?
Yes.
And then maybe the brain shaking sensation, right?
Yeah.
Those are your signs of fatigue.
Yeah.
So, and then the ability to fall asleep at night.
Yes.
That's what we need to know about.
So
So what you're going to have to do on a daily basis, like I don't know, whenever you're logging off your computer that day or whatever, you're going to have to like, I'll send you an email. Like I need on the summary report. So I need to know about each of these. Right? So each week you're going to send me an email.
Okay.
Not for me to respond to, but just like as a journal.
Updates. Yeah.
And then what'll happen is we'll do a follow up initially once a month, maybe for the first 4 to 6 months.
Perfect. Yeah.
Just to make sure we're on the right track.
Yes.
But what I always do is you'll see when we do the follow up, like I'll have all your emails pulled up.
Yeah.
From all the like your journal of how your things are doing, and then you'll fill out all the questionnaire.
Sorry. You have to, yeah.
Yeah, because we have to see we have to compare.
Yes.
Because we have to say, how are you feeling?
Yes, can't.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Kind of better. Yeah. Right.
So
that's cool.
So the symptoms we're looking for these.
Yep.
If you can't figure this out, if you can't get out of this, you won't. There's no way you can't get out of this.
Yeah.
If you can't figure this out and stop this, you can't get better.
Yeah.
Now it's possible you can't.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm saying this to you because you may have an injury that's severe.
Yeah.
That's why it's critical. You're 100%.
100%. Yes.
Actually, I know that 100%.
Yes.
Because your application is going to be diagnostic.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if we optimize everything and get rid of everything, what's the capacity to change?
Yeah.
The worst scenario is like, man, we've done everything,
right.
and there's no capacity to change.
Right.
I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
Okay, well then we shift to like, how do we get you to function?
Yes.
The best you can with what you got.
Yeah.
Which you're already doing,
right.
but we can fine tune it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the big picture.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. Yeah.
Okay. You also need to know, like, you never feel recovered when you sleep?
Yeah, for the most part, no.
You always wake up.
I'm hesitant just because I've the past 2 weeks I've had some good sleep, but it just historically speaking, wake up just like, oh wow, I'm just beat, just tired, But that's just kind of like just so used to that rhythm of being tired,
If you're hypoxic at night, you get a CPAP.
Yeah, that could change the game,
be a
right?
game changer.
Yeah, definitely.
Like maybe 10, 20, 30%.
Yeah, and I have a good feeling it may help. I mean, just because taking things that can try to create circulation have provided noticeable benefits. So I'm like, okay, maybe there's something to that.
And you have visible circulation.
Yeah,
issues.
for sure.
We'll see.
My feet are currently purple, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm like, that probably has something to do with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when can you get the sleep study?
Whenever.
You have a doctor out there that you can do that for in Texas?
I don't have a physician, but
you can just look up a sleep study.
There's I know there's like online, like you just order a sleep study. They have like an at home. I don't know if you want me to do that or like.
No, I just want you to get. Honestly, I want you to just get a baseline of how you can get it, and then get it. Then you do it all with the CPAP, even if you're borderline.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. I'm like, I don't think it hurts to just test it out. And so I was like, looking, can I just rent one or something? So borrow one, borrow your CPAP.
It's so different state by state.
Yeah.
And.
Right. So we'll figure it out. I can definitely get it. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then we fill your ketones by night. So these are the main symptoms we're worried about. Let me talk to you about a couple of the other ones. The other ones was your digestive issues, just not digesting fats.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main one. That's the main
issue.
Yeah,
for the gut problems.
Yeah.
Man, I would say. So basically, I completely I can almost tell you when I lost tolerance for vegetables. It was so when we lived at Mimi's house.
2018.
So basically, 2018 came. Prior to that, was eating veggies. Didn't really have a hard time with it at all. No issues for the most part. As long as I ate paleo, I couldn't eat gluten or anything. And 2018 came, and I just completely lost tolerance for vegetables. I would eat it, face would get tight, joints would ache. Would not feel very good from it. So I don't know what the triggering, what caused the loss of tolerance. So from then to now, just general GI issues would be a hard time with fat for the most part, and then I would just say gut inflammation. It could be triggers maybe not related to food. Like my gut will just get kind of inflamed, and then once it gets inflamed, it just has a tough time. General digestion.
And how do you know it's inflamed? What are your symptoms?
I guess just it's noticeably distended.
Distension.
Yeah. To a certain extent. I mean, I don't get super distended, but and then just general tough time digesting food, like looser stools, that type of thing.
Blood.
Yeah, that's another thing. I've had hemorrhoids.
Yeah.
I've never had that before. I'm like, man. So that was probably the past 2 years I started getting hemorrhoids.
Yeah, that's just because you're stressed.
That could be slightly different.
We never got tested if it was a hemorrhoid. There's this blood, fresh blood.
Yeah, stool test had occult blood. I don't think this one, but
right.
I don't know. Yeah, so but as long
How old are you now?
28.
Yeah, you're really young.
Yeah.
The ideal would be to get a colonoscopy.
Right.
You should always that's the rule. Blood, but 99% of hemorrhoids is straining.
Right.
Actually,
that's really probably the case too.
Okay.
Can you strain even if it's loose stools?
Well, it could be. You can get hemorrhoids from not necessarily the bowel straining, but it could be from weightlifting too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, straining that way, right?
Yeah. It's
That's hard to.
Yeah, but so do you have any problem swallowing supplements?
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad you brought that up.
Because this goes that now. Is it a bring out?
Yeah, this is a good. Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up. Never had that until probably. Let's say this year. I don't know the mechanism, but yeah, my throat. I've never had a tough time swallowing. Now I do. So
So that's brain gut.
Yeah.
That's Vegas.
Yeah, never had that. So
what are you noticing is hard?
It's hard to swallow. Like I feel like my throat is just like like the normal daily supplements, and it goes on and off. It's not like constantly hard time swallowing. I'll have like a week where I'm like, I just can't swallow anything.
It's
and then it goes away.
Brain's fatigue.
Yeah. So that's new. I've never had that in my life.
Okay, so pay attention to that too. So if you're not sleeping and you can't swallow, like what's your fatigue level of your brain? Those are key things to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll check your palate and listen to your abdomen and all that.
Okay.
And then look for some objective signs too. Okay.
Yeah.
How are we going to work out your fatigue levels throughout the day? So, like your morning rituals seems really good up until lunch. Like that's great. To like 1, you've got it perfect because you're only working like an hour and a half session.
Yeah.
And this is this enigma from lunch to 8-ish, which is like what we have to figure out.
Right.
So how many times a week would you have skin sensitivity and irritability and mood?
Would you say a few times per week?
I would say probably 5.
Or more often?
5?
Wow.
But it's often.
Well, that's why you have more bad days than good days.
Probably right. Yeah,
of course.
Probably right. Yeah.
Okay. The red eyes. That's been recent.
Eyes are getting bloodshot. I don't know what that has to. That's been like the past 2 weeks. I'm like, is it allergies?
Could be.
I
Could
have
be
no
autonomics
clue.
too.
Because I would say like the past 2 weeks, prior to the past 2 weeks, my eyes haven't been red, right?
Okay, so what do we do? What can you do?
Yeah, that's the question. Yeah,
Do you have to work that many hours?
Well, cutting off one of the client stuff was good. The work I'm doing now, we have virtual assistants that help us with a lot of stuff, so I could probably leverage more of that to not be able to do so much of the spreadsheet stuff.
I think the hard thing for him is he enjoys it.
I love it though. I really do. Like
So it's hard to stop it.
Minus the client work that I got rid of, the stuff that we do on a day-to-day, I really love.
I understand.
And I just am obsessed with. Yeah.
Okay, and that's healthy for you.
And so it may.
So all the things you're doing. So all the things you're doing are therapeutic.
Yeah.
Unless
I would say so.
Fatigued.
No, I mean.
Even on a day of fatigue, I'm leaving for the day to work. I'm like, how about you just stay home and rest? He's like, I don't know how to rest. So he works, and the working is therapeutic, like you said.
Okay, so the principle with like neurological rehabilitation is you see the area of the brain that's not working, and for you it's clearly frontal lobe.
Right.
You look at the questionnaire form, like symptoms you have, like your frontal lobe's not good.
Yeah. Right.
And it's like a combination of things because, when you look at ADHD, right, that you had diagnosed with, and clearly you responded to stimulation on that, right?
Yeah.
So that means your frontal lobe didn't develop as much white matter, gray matter connections during that window of time of development, okay?
Yeah.
So you have less connectivity.
Yeah.
Followed by trauma, followed by injury, followed by autoimmunity.
Okay. Yes.
But the greatest expression of it is your frontal lobe.
Yeah.
So when you find an area of the brain that's not working, you want to activate it.
Yeah.
That's what builds mitochondria. But you can't fatigue it. Then you go the other way.
Yeah.
Okay? So all the stuff you do at work is actually therapeutic in a sense. But
up until a point, right?
Up until a point.
Yeah.
So, all right. What can you do? What can you do to... What's the...
Yeah.
Think about shift, like length of time.
Yeah.
Is probably the biggest factor here. Then is the intensity of it.
Yeah.
Or do you notice a difference?
No, I agree. I think there's like a principle of like deep work. Some guy wrote a book about like, you can really accomplish quite a bit in a shorter period of time when you focus. And so
well, that could be more efficient stuff, but it's like I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about like this shift.
Yeah.
Like 8-hour period of work. Like you gotta have breaks in there.
Yeah.
Like it's great you go for a walk.
Yeah.
And it's religious like.
Yeah, we do it basically. I mean, more like pretty consistently. So if it's not every day, we miss maybe a day tops. I would say.
We just enjoy it. We talk.
Yeah, it's good. Just talk. It's kind of like just unwind a little bit. Just not really high intensity. Just slower.
Okay. Do you have to go to 8?
I probably don't. No, I mean I don't. I definitely do not need to go. I mean we've talked about that. Like, do you just cut yourself off, right?
There's nobody saying, "Hey, you need to work." So
yeah, I don't have anybody. No, I don't. The answer is no. I don't have to.
It's not gonna, is it going to dramatically hurt your business?
No, it would not.
Okay, then let's do that.
Yeah, I mean that's like exactly right. It would not dramatically no.
So you need to like have something come off.
I have to
like
just
like a half hour like warning, finish up your stuff.
Definitely.
And then like listen, you just.
It's my own curiosity. I'm always checking to see how certain ads are performing. It's just like when I cut it off, that's my own issue. I can cut it off. I just have to like say, dude, you don't need to check it. Hit the refresh button all the time.
Is that blue light stimulating for you? Do you have a blue light protector?
So yeah, it definitely is, and we have glasses.
Okay, you use them.
Fortunately, not too often, but
Maybe
we've been
30% of the time.
Listen, if you have a unhealthy brain, injured brain, and you have 8 hours of blue light.
Yes. We'll throw the glasses on, no doubt. Yeah.
Or they can we put stuff on your screen so you don't have to wear your glasses.
Yes.
You need a blue light.
Yeah. I'll throw those back on, definitely.
Get a screen. I think that's block it all out.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's figure out what's a reasonable time for you? Cut at 6?
Yeah, I would say. I mean, I do think it's important. I mean, just in general, like I've been wanting to do that. So, yeah, I would say probably reasonable is probably 6. And ultimately, if I can kind of get my brain kind of turned on earlier in the day, I'd like to like start the work earlier. But I don't know if that solves the equation. I'm just pushing the time frame earlier. So
stick with what you got. Stick with what you got. 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah.
6 o'clock.
Right.
Okay. The other thing that is absolutely critical. So we're trying to improve your mitochondria. Okay.
Yeah.
So mitochondria means biogenesis, making new mitochondria, and also mitophagy, getting rid of mitochondria. The mitophagy part of it, like how you get rid of unhealthy mitochondria.
Yeah.
If you have unhealthy mitochondria, there's only so much cell space.
Yeah, that's right.
Then you can't make new ones. So you got to get rid of the other ones. You got to clear it. Like it happens in sleep.
Yeah.
Healthy sleep, like deep sleep.
Right.
And you're not going to be able to sleep unless you shut down, unless your brain frontal lobe has enough endurance to shut down the reticular system. Okay.
Yeah.
And circadian rhythms.
Right.
Like a daily circadian rhythm, which you're doing, is really good. Except from 1 to 8, there is no more rhythm.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
okay.
Right.
But like from when you wake up till 1, you have a perfect rhythm. It's consistent, same time every day.
Yes.
Right. That's what we need to do with the second part of your day. So we need your walk to be like
same time.
You almost need to go like Rain Man.
We can do that too. It's probably a good idea. Yeah.
Okay. So let's say you started working again at 11. Can you just take an hour break and just enjoy your lunch?
It's hard. I could. That's my own. I could definitely. The answer is yes, for sure.
Okay.
I just have to do it. Yeah.
So away from blue light, just rest. Or have you stare at a wall.
Just sit there.
Sit there, stare at a wall, and just not have any input.
I can't even picture him doing that.
It's hard, but yeah.
Maybe just close your eyes.
Yeah.
You ever done meditation?
Yeah. So I definitely did that.
Did it make you more tired? Because meditation itself is fun.
So meditation, like we'll do prayer, and that's like it's difficult, you know. We'll do that for like 10 to 20 minutes. But I notice like just same with reading, like getting started is the hardest part, but like my brain just sort of hits a flow state, I guess, and I just can kind of cruise, and then the time goes quicker. But getting started, initiating the first couple of minutes is hardest, and then once I'm there, I'm like, okay, I can kind of.
Yeah.
But some days are easier, some days are harder. I'm like, I just can't.
So for a while, don't do anything that really makes you initiate. Like if you can pick up a book and just want to read it, and it's not hard, go. If you're struggling to have to push through that 2 minutes, don't do it right now.
Okay. Oh, it's so hard, man. But you're right. Yeah.
Because this is the biggest problem. You can't sleep.
Yeah.
You can't change your mitochondria and mitophagy endurance. You can't get out.
Yeah.
And we don't want to, even if we try to falsely sedate you with nutraceuticals, it's not real.
Right,
and
that's right.
And it won't last.
That's right.
That's the other thing. It won't last. Like first 2 weeks, you're like, this thing's great,
it's
awesome,
great.
Game
changer.
2 weeks later, you're like, it's not working anymore.
Right.
Just like lithium, just like other things.
Anything else.
Lithium is strong. You've taken lithium, helped, then it stopped.
Yes. Right.
Anything else we use for sleep, even heavy sleep medication, it's going to have the same effect.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So, and also you're not sleeping is a window for us, like you're fatigued your brain.
Yeah.
Okay. So, have a decent lunch break. Give yourself a break.
Like proper
give your
time,
brain a
no
break.
phone, like just
give your brain a break. Like give your frontal lobe a break.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the mitochondria and your brain a break.
Yes.
And then once you get back to work, what's the longest? Like you shouldn't go more than 2 hours. When can you get your walk in?
Yeah. So typically I'll go like just way past 2 hours, but. Yeah, we can. We can get more walks in. I mean, sometimes we take very short walks.
In the morning, when you say rest, is a walk a rest, or is that stimulating still?
Walk's okay.
Because I feel like that'd be good.
It feels I mean,
you'll know when you should.
I notice benefit for sure. Like
making that be your indication.
Engaging rest. Like I always. sitting is the hardest, and sometimes I don't feel recovered. But like if we're walking, we're talking, and I can kind of just like let my mind just forget about what I was doing and just engage, I guess, different part of my brain.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I feel great. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Like I said, just stare at the wall, but I should clarify that.
No, I know what you mean.
If you stare at a wall and your mind just can't stop like thinking,
that's how it works. Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah.
So maybe it's going to be a walk for you.
It's kind of like a distraction play, like the physical moving of the body. Yeah. It's kind of like it helps me disengage by moving. You know,
need to find an area of disengagement.
Yeah.
Let your brain kind of just not think about your work.
Yeah.
Distract you from work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you like music? Do you listen to music?
Yeah, we listen to music. Not so much, but I mean that's something to do, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This is going to be the hardest part.
Yeah.
You got to figure this out between 1:30 to 6. You got to stop at 6, like cut off the electricity.
Just cut the breakers.
Probably be the best thing.
Yeah, but we have talked about like that. It's super important.
Okay.
Because when there's no break and then immediate to sleep, it's just not very good.
Okay. So that's like and listen, once the first step will be like getting to the point where you're starting to sleep, your irritability and mood's changing, your skin's not so sensitive, like all the things of like brain fatigue. Yeah. Like that's gone. And then we need to keep you there for like 6 to 8 months for you to recover.
Wow.
You're just first figuring out how to recover.
Yeah.
And then you have to stay there for 6 to 8 months to recover.
Yeah.
Hopefully with some progress in those 6 to 8 months. Right?
Yes.
But like this. Slow. It won't be like dramatic.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Of course, no doubt.
It's brain things take a while to start connecting. And
for sure.
But also you'll function better, like if you're sleeping and doing all these things. Okay.
Yeah.
So next thing you need to do is you got to get a ketone meter. Like, do you have a ketone?
Like the strips or
the Keto Mojo?
No, I've never gotten one. I should. You need like the urine strips or is like the blood?
It's blood.
Blood. Okay.
You need blood.
Okay. Like Amazon or something.
Just Keto Mojo.
Keto Mojo.
Yeah,
okay.
I'll send you a link.
Okay.
The reason we like them is just
I'm curious. I've never done it. Like I want to see if I'm in ketosis or not.
Yeah. So the urine. Once you're gonna since we're doing this long term, you'll eventually get ketogenic adapted. Yeah. And the urine's gonna not be valuable.
Just kind of goes stabilized.
You just want to use blood.
Okay.
And basically anything above if you're making any ketones like 0.1, you're in slight ketosis. Okay.
Yep.
Some people say 1, 2. It's all nonsense. If you're making any ketones, you're
ketone
in
bodies.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And then and I'm not so much worried. I want to see with your diet if you are in ketosis. Yeah. But then we're going to have you take a lot of ketones during the day.
Just exogenously, raise it, just force it to go. Okay, cool.
Like
I love that.
Like in the 2 range.
Yes. Dude, I love that.
You might have to. You're going to be checking your ketone meter just initially a lot more.
Just to see. Yeah.
Just to see, and like, how do we keep your ketones for sure above 1 in the 2 range?
Definitely.
And how often do you have to take exogenous ketones to do that?
Yeah.
Because
find a rhythm and then.
Yeah, because exogenous ketones they turn off the glia.
Yeah. Which is awesome. Yeah.
Now, have you ever done long-term fasting?
I've done like 3-day fasts.
How'd you do?
Dude, I definitely noticed benefit for sure.
Yes.
Like, yeah, that's super noticeable.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with prime glial cells, it's the only way to get rid of them.
Wow.
And autophagy doesn't kick in until day 3.
Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, all we have based off animal studies.
Yeah.
But the studies in animal studies
you have
comparable.
Something, yeah.
You can't dissect human
It'd be kind of difficult to do that. Like, yeah. Right.
But basically all the animal studies are pretty consistent. Doesn't matter what species. Like 3 days.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. So 3 days you start clearing.
Yeah. You start. Right.
Yeah. I mean, you'll have some clearance.
Yeah.
So we assume you have a lot of amyloid, a lot of prime glial cells, a lot of debris in your brain.
Yeah.
You need to clean that up.
Yeah.
There's nothing else that's going to do.
Nothing else you can do.
No.
Can't get fancy. Yeah.
No.
Just.
Once you get in high ketones all the time, it's going to be very easy for you to do.
Okay.
That's not our first step.
Are you able to supplement ketones while you fast? Yeah. Oh, okay, great. That's like beautiful. Because they're just water
ketones,
fast.
but not protein.
No, yeah, of course, no.
If you do any protein,
just straight ketones.
Yeah. But if we're really promoting autophagy, you just want to save the ketones for you at that point, where like you'll get in the 3, 4, 5 range of ketones in fasting.
While fasting, yeah, it's just like
ultra. You won't need to take any exogenous ketones.
Yes.
Unless you like are off.
Yeah.
And you like have a headache or something, then the salt of the ketones, salt and minerals will keep you okay.
Got it.
But even like a bone broth
right.
will throw you out of autophagy.
Yeah,
it keeps you in a fasting state.
Yeah, exactly.
Any protein will throw off autophagy.
So the key would just be water. Would it be better without ketones, or would it be good with ketones to keep ketones in that mix with
So we're not going to do the first month.
Okay.
We're going to, but once we talk the second month,
Potential strategy.
so it'll be
at
like
some point.
stage 2. We're going to label things as stage 1 and stage 2.
Got it. Yep.
Stage 2, we're going to try to get you into a 3-day plus.
For sure.
Fast.
I'll do it, man. No doubt.
And then get you to clear that debris up.
Yep.
And then recover and clear the debris up, and then
Yeah.
like how to make sure like. Because you might go 5 days,
Maybe make
and then like make sure you don't like totally fall apart. Introduce the food back in,
Yeah.
and go through all the concepts.
Yes.
Okay.
Would coffee be cool or no?
Yeah,
Like that?
coffee's
Okay.
totally fine.
That's great.
Coffee, tea, water,
Great.
and then some ketones and electrolytes.
Yeah.
But we'll go over it together.
Yeah, for sure. No, I love that.
That'd
That's
be
a good
stage 2.
strat. I like that
That's a
a
strategy.
lot. Very cool.
That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
First 8 months.
Love
Look
it.
at all your symptoms, like, and you have to understand, like you also said, low libido, right?
Oh, totally. That's
Libido's
been
limbic.
like turned off
It's-
like past 2 years.
It's not
or so.
hormonal.
Yeah.
It's brain.
Mm,
Like
yeah.
your limbic system activates your libido.
Mm.
All hormones do is activate your limbic system.
Right.
Your limbic
Yes.
system.
Mm.
You know.
Yes.
Has that. So those are your 5 chief complaints,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Poor brain function, digestive issues.
Mhm.
Digestive issues right now, we'll see if it's brain gut, especially if
Mm,
you're swallowing.
yeah.
So let's
Yeah.
see if things change, because like you're already on a clean diet.
Mhm.
You're basically going to be on a high fat diet.
Yeah.
Okay. So the other thing we'll do is so we're going to have you get a ketone meter.
Yeah.
You're going to have to increase your healthy fat intake.
Okay.
So like instead of having just a steak, you might have steak and put some more olive oil on it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or
Definitely.
nice
I mean, honestly, like
fatty
I've
fatty
drank
meats.
olive oil or avocado oil just like
Yeah.
just to get it in. So however I can get it
Yeah.
in. Yeah.
So you'll definitely need to increase your fat caloric intake to 80%.
Wow. Definitely, I can. Yeah. How would you recommend, like, just on the digestion of the fat? I've had.
Oh, see what
Had
you can
trouble.
see what your fat tolerance is.
Yeah.
Load it below it, and then
Mhm.
if not, we'll just use ketones.
Okay. Okay. Mhm.
Have you taken ketones before?
Not ketone salts, just MCT.
Okay.
Um,
I'll recommend some ones that.
but I would love to take whatever. I mean, I know there's lots of different types of
Yeah,
magnesium
like
or
there's like the
bound.
capsule ones that are okay to take. They're easy to take.
Mhm.
Then there's the ones like that have a powder,
Mhm.
but the big scoop of them.
Yeah.
You get like
I'm cool with that.
those work better, but they all
Yeah.
have like one has like a fruit punch flavor,
Hey.
and like you might get totally
On
like,
flavor is
A1.
cool. I mean,
Or just
yeah.
you'll have to experiment.
Yeah, for sure.
As long as
for
beta
sure.
hydroxybutyrate.
I can get, yeah.
Okay.
It could be disgusting and I'll drink it, no problem.
I think we got a pretty good plan of what we need to do.
Mhm.
Okay. And like we're not ignoring your autoimmunity at all. Okay. Because I know
Mm.
that's like a big part of your.
Right.
All this stuff is
Mm.
beneficial for autoimmunity.
Yes.
Right. Because it's
Yes.
basically a hypoallergenic diet. You
Yeah.
want to keep your blood sugar stable. You're going to retap your circadian rhythm.
Yeah.
You're not. There's no obvious autoimmune trigger. You know, like things like gluten totally make you fall apart.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that for sure.
There's no new supplement to give you for autoimmunity.
Special, magical. No,
If your
I
brain
get
gut
that.
axis is functional, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And then that your gut not being ideal can
Yeah.
impact that. Okay. Let's see what else here. Intestinal permeability, oral tolerance. Yeah. Anything I think we're missing?
What would you say, Lauren? Do you have anything? I would say the circulation. So, for instance, like my feet.
Over the last
My
8
goodness, we have some
months.
photos, and I mean, even now they don't look very good, but just the most atrocious colors, like my feet getting super cold, turning like blue, purple, just really gnarly circulation that I've never
Like a dead
had.
foot.
Like my foot looks like it's just like a dead person's foot, you know, just totally miscolored, and
The red sweat veins.
then it started getting like on my foot, almost like just like these, I don't know what spider veins maybe call them,
Yeah.
varicose veins, sort of showing up
Yeah.
on like my heels. And I did have COVID, so I'm like, I see some people have like venous issues post-COVID, so I'm like, maybe that's part of it. I've never.
I'll
really-
check it out.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
We'll
You
check
did a
out
little ultra.
venous insufficiency and all that.
Yeah. Cool.
And then your bone pain, shin pain.
Yeah, just these really funky stuff, and then getting just chronic like lower leg bone pain. But I know like I went through the chronic venous insufficiency course. Maybe that's part of it, just lack of blood flow causing just pain in my bones. Just so many funky, weird.
We'll definitely stay on the nitric balance.
I wish
You can't-
messing my stomach.
Oh, miss it.
I notice benefit for sure, but like day 2, I just
Okay, stick with vinpocetine, whatever source you can take.
I take vinpocetine.
You said pine bark helps your feet.
And pine
Yeah,
bark.
pine bark helps. I've noticed like I'll take pine, like for instance, we'll go for a walk and my feet will just swell, get super red, hot, irritated, just like puff up, and then I'll test just like, hey, let me take a really big dose of like a pine bark and see. And then I'll go for a walk and just nothing. So I'm like,
But it's not even on a walk. It could just be sitting.
Do you have
in the
venous
house.
insufficiency in your family?
not that I'm aware of, but I wouldn't be surprised if there.
Because fine progress is going to help with venous insufficiency, vascular dynamics.
Yeah. So I'm not sure about family tree, but it could be.
Okay, we'll have to keep an eye on it. And a lot of times, like when you treat the main thing. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like there's so many pieces. Like
Okay.
Strategy. Yeah.
I don't think you need to change any of the supplements. It's totally up to you.
Hey,
we know what lights up your brain.
Yeah,
we know what your brain
sure.
works for. That's like not our concern.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't you missed that supplement. That's
Come
why.
on, man.
Okay. It's this stuff. It's like getting your level to not fatigue, get your ketosis, promoting autophagy, keeping your circadian rhythm regular.
Yeah.
That's where you're at. Okay.
Love it.
It's the next step.
Yep.
It's like the step.
Yep. Yeah. For sure. Yes.
I know it's small, but the last thing is your kidneys that you've been complaining about, and that's it.
Yeah, you've had some abnormal kidney markers.
Yeah, I know. And I've like historically, every test I've ever had has been BUN, creatinine, and some sort of weird ratio. Basically every time.
Dull ache.
Yeah, today's been much better, but like the past 2 weeks, like my kidneys have just been aching, and I don't know what. No clue.
It's always possibly autoimmune to another tissue.
Yeah, different target. Yeah.
Different target. I don't know. Well, let's keep an eye. Is it changing in your urine?
No, my urine's generally. I wouldn't notice anything.
It takes you a while to pee in the morning. I don't know if that's normal.
Yeah, when I take psyllium husk, it's kind of before bed. I don't know if that just does anything, but.
In your last actual blood test was what date? It was 2022, June.
Yeah.
So this one I don't remember seeing anything significant. T3 was a little bit low.
And just ruling out anything.
What's it?
Ruling out anything, like it said.
Oh, ruling out.
Yeah. Nothing there. Like your analysis is fine, no proteins or anything.
Oh, it was good. Okay, cool.
The biggest clue, like, when you start having a lot of foam when you urinate, that's a bad sign. That's a lot of protein in your urine.
If I'm just like standing there in the bathroom brushing my teeth and like he's peeing, I'm like, there's so much foam, but I don't know what men's urine is like.
Right. And I wasn't. Yeah, didn't really have any context for it. I mean,
let's keep an eye on it.
I'll keep an eye on it. Yeah, I don't think it's something that's like.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to do any additional labs. Did you want to do any additional labs?
I mean, you're about to say something.
I don't mean to be a chime in, but he said he's always just want to like rule out.
Oh, like how do you rule out like so like the idea of like the big C word, like a cancer or something just really wonky or weird, like is it? Because I guess and it's not like a logical thing, but like when you're just so fatigued and tired, like dude, what is it? You know, so how do you rule that out? Well, I guess you would see it with like an immune marker or something like that, or.
Yeah, I mean, there's like anti-malignancy antibody tests, like ALIS test. Some
Mm-hmm.
people have done in the past. They're a bit controversial.
Yeah. Okay.
And then also, it's almost organ-specific screening.
Right. Exactly.
It's like organ-specific. Like, which one do you want to start with?
Yeah.
And then which do you want to spend?
Yeah. Of course.
And then they get into the world of like full body CT.
Yeah.
And full body CT, like you're getting 30 X-rays.
Oh yeah.
At once.
Right.
To see if there's any growths or masses, and then everyone ends up with a little cyst or a little bump, and then
Yeah.
The American College of Radiology actually is against it as a screening tool.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
They're like 30 CTs for the chance of it.
Yeah.
But
and like if you had like crazy immune panels, like your white blood cells,
you would see like that's what I'm saying. Like just
Yeah.
on the
Somebody
CBC.
had low white blood cells. What do you think that is?
it's probably
It's
not
like
too
the
low,
lymph
though. They're not like really low.
That's good.
Because I know you put on there. I'm like, oh, let's see how low they are. Like they weren't very low.
Not too bad.
No.
That's cool.
And let's see, most recent white blood cell count 4.2. Like it's pretty good.
Okay. Good. Okay. Awesome.
Okay.
And then I guess the only question.
We can go down that path.
Yeah,
It's just an
No, I agree with you.
It's an exhaustive.
For sure.
Like right now,
Yeah.
it might deviate from.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
And I don't want to
I
mess
guess
up
my thought
any.
was just like, when you live with it every day, it's like, could it be something?
Is there something
right?
drastic? You just go to the.
You don't know what works.
You think of the worst. You're like, could it just be something?
that we're missing.
That I'm missing.
Cancer is
but-
a possibility for any person at any time.
Of course,
in life,
yeah,
right?
of course,
But
yeah.
yours doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Yeah.
Like the main red flags would be like wasting,
Right.
immune cells that never change, crazy
Mhm.
shifts in immune panels,
Right.
and stuff like that.
Just really wonky stuff.
And by now you'd have had like the gap of time you've had
Yeah.
with this. How many years is it now? 8
It's
years,
been
10 years?
it's been a while. Yeah, probably 10 years.
Like if it was a cancer by 10 years, would
You're
it
probably
would
gonna
have
know.
gotten you?
Yes. No, it makes sense. It makes total sense.
But it's
You're
still
gonna see
possible.
those. Yeah, that's true. And then the viral panels, would you say let's just totally ignore
They're
it,
IgM.
just treat the brain?
They're
and
an IgM antibody. That could have been a reactivation,
Right.
but for that specific virus, they haven't made like a viral load. It's just exposure.
Definitely. Okay, cool.
It's just past exposure. I mean, we would all have some of those.
All of us, yeah. EBV is like 90 some odd percent.
Yeah.
Right? It's just inactive.
HPV6.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be everywhere.
Yeah, just focus on what's important for now. Yeah, no doubt.
I don't think they're. That's your issue.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Any other things you have questions?
No, I think that's it for sure. Yeah.
Your intuition is really important.
Yeah.
Like if you feel like we need to check this out, we need to do that.
No.
And I'm not saying screen for cancer things all the time.
No,
let's just figure out.
Yeah. Like first things
One more
first.
thing I just remembered that's a complaint every week is your testicles being cold and achy.
Yeah, just like
blood supply.
Yeah, circulation. Yeah, that's. Yeah, I guess that would be like part of one.
Like you would during the day, you're just like, oh my gosh, it hurts.
Ache, cold, just.
Yeah, and there's the thing, like you may just have dysautonomia.
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of symptoms of like sympathetic response all the time.
Yeah.
It can impact your vascular dynamics everywhere.
True. Yeah.
We're not sure. What could be insufficiency? It doesn't sound like you have like a bad heart or anything, right? So
I don't think so.
Check everything out.
Cool.
See what's gonna.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions, comments?
No, I think this is even just this has been awesome. So yeah,
cool.
no questions. I would say.
Okay, let's give you a little break, get some water or snacks, whatever we need to do, and then we'll do an exam.
Do the exam. Yeah. All right.